Good morning, Carmine. It's RJ back with another video. So let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day: 1981 Topps Phillies team card. Basic, exactly what you think of all the team cards. I miss team card photos. I really do. I'm not even sure if teams still do team photos. I think they must, just for posterity and to have a record of everybody who's on the team on a certain day and put them all in front of the camera down there with the bat boys and the coaches and the trainers and all that fun stuff. I'm not even sure if they do team photos. They certainly don't release them in card sets anymore. I know some players, some people out there think team cards and checklist cards are like the worst ever, but I was always a fan. Always a fan, and mostly it's probably because of my checklist mentality. I'm a set collector. I'm not happy unless I have a full set. So knowing the checklist was always important to me, so I kind of liked the checklist cards, but I miss team cards. I really do. So that is my random baseball item of the day, my random Mike Schmidt item of the day. My random baseball item of the day. Another one of those great souvenir sheets. This one, Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. This is from his rookie season with the Phillies. Shouldn't say that. It was actually, he started playing in 1996. You can see here he had 37 games with the Phillies in 96. This sheet is from 1997 and it is out of 4,200. It's one of those things I keep thinking to myself, maybe I should put up on the bay and see if anybody wants to buy one. There's probably a Scott Rowland super collector out there who wants to have a copy of this and does not. Maybe, you never know. But it's one of those things I can never get myself to let go of it. So it's always in a binder in my collection, forgot about until I want to leaf through all the stuff I have and take a second look. And that's what I'm doing here, my random baseball item of the day. Today's trivia question, in keeping with my great questions coming from that trivia book. Interesting one here. Pitchers. Jamie Moyer owns the career record of most home runs surrendered by a Philadelphia Philly. Jamie Moyer, the former Philly, but certainly more well recognized as being on the Mariners and a couple other teams. Had his greatest success with the Mariners, but his only postseason success with the Phillies, getting to the World Series that year. Jamie Moyer has the career record of giving up the most home runs as a pitcher in a career, 522. What I found fascinating was that the top three are all former Phillies. I'm not sure if that explains why the Phillies were so bad for so many years, but the other two are Hall of Famers. Number 2 on that list is Robin Roberts, gave up 502 home runs in his career, and then Fergie Jenkins. Now, I didn't look up Fergie's number. He only had a very brief career with the Phillies before he was traded to the Cubs. Anyway, let's talk about Robin Roberts for a while. Until Jamie Moyer came along, Robin Roberts had the record for quite a long time. 502 home runs surrendered. My trivia question for you today is, he is a Hall of Famer, Robin Roberts. Which Hall of Famer has the distinction of being number 502? In other words, he was the last Major League player to hit a home run off of Robin Roberts. Name for me that Hall of Fame player. Those who are kind enough to throw out a guess will have a chance to win this awesome Jackie Robinson card. This is a Topps Archives release from I think it was 1994. It's like a 40th anniversary kind of thing for the 1954 Topps Archives. So this is your prize. If you can send me a great guess on that question, I will include my email in the description below along with the repeat of that question. You'll have today and tomorrow to answer, and we will pick a winner on Sunday, all right? Good luck to everybody on that. Today, when I want to show off, this is not a PSA set registry. It is simply a set I am trying to collect. It's not a PSA set registry because the cards I'm buying off the bay, not every one has been a PSA purchase. Many of them are about half are PSA, about half are SGC. So what am I talking about? My E95 Philadelphia Caramels. Now, I'm going to show off the first one I got this year. So here's one of the newer holders with the PSA logo down here. I don't particularly like this at all. I don't know why PSA did this. It's kind of annoying, frankly. You got the label up here. That's really all you need. You don't need this down there. It takes away, I think, from the appeal of the slab, frankly. Don't do it. But that's just me. So at the start of this year, it was my goal to pick up 6. I've been doing 6 a year. I'm in my 3rd year. By the end of 4 years, I'll have all but one card. But that one card I'm going to be lacking is going to be the Honus Wagner E95 Caramel card. The Honus Wagner, even in poor condition, is dang near a $10,000 card. So I'll have to start saving my nickels and dimes right now in order to acquire that in another 2.5 years. Well, a year and a half, another 2 years or so. Anyway, so this is the first one I picked up this year. It was a PSA Good 2 marked of Harry Krause of the Philadelphia Athletics. On the back here, I think it was marked because if you look closely up there, you'll see there was a pencil mark that looks like it had been erased. This is the checklist of all the cards that are in the set. And Harry Krause was card number 13 in my quest to collect the full set of 25 cards. This one put me over the halfway mark. I was halfway there. I recently went on a bit of a spending binge and picked up 3 more, almost about within a week or two, and they have finally arrived. I want to show them off. One of them is one of those, wow picks. One of them is going to be very much a wow showcase, so I'm anxious to share this card with you, but I have the other 2 first. So here we have 1909 Philadelphia Caramel E95 Tommy Leach. He was with the Pittsburgh Pirate team. They actually won the World Series in 1909. Beat the Tigers that year. It is in a SGC. It's an old school style SGC 40, which they equate to a VG3 of PSA. Very nice card. Good printing. Good registration. Obviously, the edges and the corners are dinged and dented and rounded. A little bit of staining everywhere. But again, this is another one I needed for my collection. So this was card number 14 out of 25. Then I got a more well-known player. If you're a baseball historian, this name's going to pop for you. Fred Merkle. 1909 Philadelphia Caramel, Fred Merkle. Again, it's an SGC 40, translates into a VG 3. Better centering, I think. A lot of staining, a lot of pit marks, whatever, little black and brown flakes all over the image. It's one of these that came sealed in this eBay thing, so it kind of detracts from the image a little bit. All that stuff on the back, but it's supposed to guarantee quality over. A little bit about Fred Merkle. I've told this story before. It's a very, very, very well-known story, but people get a lot of the facts wrong. So in 1912, the the Chicago Cubs and the New York Giants are playing in a close pennant race. No, it would have been 1910. I don't need to catch myself. This would have been 1910. 1910, the Giants and the Cubs are having in a pennant race, trying to get down to the end. Someone's trying to win the pennant. Shoot, that might have been 1908. I'm getting the year wrong. As I think more about it, it's probably 1908. But again, it might be 1907, 1906 with the Cubs involved. But anyway, let's say it was 1908, because I know they said Fred Merkle was a rookie at the time. So anyway, Merkle's on first base. This is the bottom of the, it's in the Polo Grounds, okay, playing in New York. So the Giants are, it's a tie score. The Giants are at bat in the bottom of the ninth, tie score. Merkel's on first. I don't know the batter on third, nor do I remember the batter on who was up. There was a batter on third, or runner on third, and I don't know the batter. But whoever the batter was, pitch was thrown. He hit a clean single up, like right up the middle. So the batter from third scored easily. Now Merkel, they say because he was a rookie and didn't understand the rules, that if you know the Polo Ground, the clubhouse was in center field. There's a doorway in the center field fence, and that's where players and everybody went. And this is back in the days when after a big game, the fans would rush the field. Now, they wouldn't rush the field and do anything nefarious. They just went out there and they milled around the field. They talked to the players, umpires, everybody. It was just almost a social affair. After the game, the fans would walk around the field for a while. I don't know why. I don't know why they stopped them. It was just what was done during the early days of baseball. It just was. So Merkel, knowing that the game was over, the guy from third had scored, instead of going to second and touching second base on the force play, he went right from first bag. Right, he started running towards second, but seeing that the run had scored and there was a hit, he went towards the center field fence to go to the clubhouse. And in failing to do so, what happened, Johnny Evers, the Cubs second baseman, realized that it happened and decided that he wanted to get the ball and force out Merkel at second. Now, the interesting story, what's always told, is he was trying to get the ball but couldn't, because one of the Giants players realized what was happening, grabbed the ball, threw it out of the park, and there was a big stink. When things settled down, Merkel got Evers got another ball, went out to second base, touched second base, and at that time the umpire called Merkel out. There's a big brouhaha. The game didn't officially end. They couldn't pick it up where it left off because so many people were on the field. It was a tie. It was ruled a tie. And they were going to have to replay it at the end of the season. This happened about 2 weeks before the end of the season. They were going to have to replay the game at the end of the season to see who won the pennant if the two teams ended up being tied. Well, they did end up being tied, and the Cubs won that playoff game, and people blamed Fred Merkel for doing it. But the backstory is a lot different because, first of all, Evers recognized earlier in the season that had happened to another player. Somebody didn't touch second base after a force out, and the game ended. Now, Evers was correct in the letter of the law, the letter of the rules. The issue is, though, that players at that time regularly, especially in New York, because the clubhouse was in center field, they regularly did not touch second base. Instead, went right to the clubhouse. Nobody cared. The umpires never enforced the rule, and it was never a thing. Evers talked to umpire Hank O'Day a week or two before this happened and said, hey, isn't that the rule? And apparently umpire Hank O'Day, who actually is a Hall of Famer now as an umpire, said, you're right. The next time it happens, I'll call the man out. So Evers knew that, that was the rule. And when it came up again, he was going to make sure to get that enforced. Now, Merkel, again, people blame Merkel for doing something wrong. No, this is something that every player in baseball was doing at the time. When there was a walk-off hit, the man at first had no obligation to touch second. With all the people swarming the field, the first thing they wanted to do was get the heck out of there. So he avoided second base, went right to the clubhouse like he had done many times himself that year, and like every other player in baseball was doing at that time. Merkel did nothing wrong. The only thing wrong that happened was Hank O'Day, the umpire, never told the managers of the teams, hey, by the way, I'm going to begin enforcing this rule. Or the head of umpires should have said to the league officials, hey, we're going to begin enforcing this rule. And that would have made sure Merkel had touched second, because now he knew the rules in his mind were changing. It had always been a rule, but was never enforced. So I've always lamented those people who complain that Fred Merkel did something wrong. No, he did nothing wrong. But his name was always and forever associated with that incident. So this is my Fred Merkel card I picked up. Apologize for that long rant on baseball history. The last card I want to show off, like I said, is one of those huge pickups. Like, I can't believe I'm holding this card in my hand kind of pickups. Now, this is a Pour 1 PSA. The card does not look exceptionally pretty, but it is still a significant, and I'm thrilled to have, kind of a card. I have here the 1909 E95 Philadelphia Caramel card of Christy Mathewson. My first playing era card of Mathewson. Mathewson, New York National. Now, it's a Pour 1. It's got a really bad, it almost looks like someone tore this corner off and pasted it back together, but it's certainly bent and creased in a nasty way. More creasing down here, a lot of bad corners. This one almost looks like it was torn off. It's an awful card as far as, it's not perfect, but it still looks damn good to me. The image is crisp and clear. You can see everything. There's no bad staining. Got a little bit of paper loss there. Again, bad corners. General staining on the white borders. But it is a very pretty card. And I'm happy to say I still have the ability at this point in time to say I've never spent $1,000 on any card. I'm assuming that will change in the near future. This is card number, 16 that I've acquired of that set. I need 2 more this year to have 18. That's almost 2/3 of the set. It's almost 3/4 of the set, I should say. Again, it's my goal to get 6 this year, so I need 2 more. It'll be my goal to get 6 next year, and then finally save up enough money 2 years from now to buy the Wagner. But I made it a point to get a decent, high-valued card this year because there are 3 Hall of Famers left beside Wagner. Wagner's on a plane by himself. But I still need to get Chief Bender. I need to get Eddie Plank, and I need to get Ty Cobb. Now, Bender is typically selling right around $500, so it's a lot of money, but it's within reason for me. The Plank card, though, the lowest I can see it for is over $1,000. I don't see it for anything less than $1,000. And then the Cobb's going for like $2,000 and above. So it was my intent to buy Mathewson and Plank this year, Bender and Cobb next year, to try and keep the total price low. And then all the rest, the other 4 cards each of those years would have been non-Hall of Famers like Merkel and Leach. One of the non-Hall of Famers, though, that cost a good pretty penny, I might pick that up again this year, is Sicott, Eddie Sicott from the Chicago White Sox, Black Sox scandal. Eddie's card typically runs about $500-600, even in Pour 1 condition. So I might end up picking up that this year again, just to save myself some money next year when I have to go after Cobb. But I have here in my hand a E95 Playing Era Christy Mathewson card. I'm very stoked about this. Very, very happy to have been able to add this to my collection. So 4 new cards, 3 new ones. I've had the Hans Kraus for a while, but these are the 4 cards I've picked up so far this year. The other 2, I'm pretty sure that the other 2 I'll get this year now. There's going to be Plank and Bender. I'm sorry, no, Plank and Sicott. They're the last 2 I'll need this year to have the 6 for my to add to my collection of cards this year. Again, it's my intent to say I own a full set of E95 cards. There's only 25 in the set. That's why I'm picking that rather than the T206 with over 500 cards. and you know, thousands if you want to go into all the varieties. I'm not nuts enough to go through and attempt the PSA, or not even PSA, but I'm not nuts enough to start a collection of T206s. I'm not going to do it. I'll get ones for other purposes, but I'm not going to try some master T206 run. So anyway, there you have it. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that video. Um, Hopefully you enjoyed the little bit of Merkel story. I'm sorry for deviating on that, but I'm a student of history in baseball, and I find stories like that absolutely fascinating. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, if you enjoyed that in the video, please consider like, subscribing, commenting, all that jazz. I really do appreciate you taking time to join me in these videos. There's a lot of videos out there for us all to peruse, so thank you for choosing mine, all right? Hope to see you again Sunday, doing the trivia recap. Don't forget that. I hope to see you then. Take care.